Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to the 25th Sunday in Ordinary Time Church Year B. Today our readings are challenging and inviting us to be a community ready to welcome and to accept other people. There is a story of a woman who has 12 children, and she will repeatedly say to each of the children, "You are my favorite child." Something happened. All the children, they will continue to brag, be happy in the midst of others, and they will tell others, "I am the favorite," and all of them will be happy, telling each other, "I am mom's favorite child." One day, they summoned the mother and sat her down and said, "Mother, please tell us, who is your favorite child?" And the mother looked at all of them with a beautiful smile and said to them, "All of you, you are my children, and all of you are my favorite children." And the children looked at each other and they smiled. And from that day, they were all happy together, appreciating each other, knowing that all of them are the favorite children. My dear brothers and sisters, today the gospel passage presents to us Jesus. For the second time, he is telling his disciples what he is going to face in Jerusalem. Instead of the disciples asking Jesus to explain more what he means, the disciples, they decided to distract themselves by asking among themselves, who is the greatest? Sometimes the disciples, they were not ready to accept the reality. So they decided to distract themselves. And Jesus, he knew what they were arguing about. And he called them and he sat them down. And he sat with them. And he began to lecture them, to teach them. The significance of Jesus sitting down is a sign and a common practice during that time when the rabbi used to teach, to give their solemn teachings. They will sit down to give their solemn teachings. So Jesus, he gathered the disciples and sat them down. And he called a little child and set the child before them. And he said to them, "He who wants to be first must become like this little child, must become the servant of all, must become humble. He who wants to be first must make himself last." My dear brothers and sisters, in our society today, there is no reasonable parent who will want to see the children fighting among themselves, or who will want to see one child progressing while others are stagnant. The joy of every parent is to see all the children walking together, succeeding together. This is what Jesus wants from his disciples. He wants all of them, instead of bragging of what they can do as individuals, Jesus wants them to walk together, to be servants to each other. And in this way, they will realize and appreciate the goodness of one another. As Christians, sometimes we find ourselves happy that we are good Christians and others are bad. Jesus wants us to transform other people by our good works, by our good ways. Let us help other people so that they too can become good like us. And together, all of us will be able to share the goodness of Christianity. Jesus wants us to walk as a team. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., he said, "We must learn to live together as brothers, or we perish together as fools." My dear brothers and sisters, sometimes like the disciples, maybe Peter, as we read in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 16 verse 18, that Peter is the rock. He is handed the keys to the kingdom. Maybe Peter will say, "I am Peter, I am the rock. I am the rock. I have the keys. I am the important one. I am the greatest among all of you." Maybe John, as we read in John chapter 20 verse 2, that he is the beloved. Maybe he will say, "I am the beloved disciple. He loves me. I am the greatest." Maybe Judas, as we read in John chapter 12 verse 6, who is the one, who is the treasurer, he will say, "I am the important one. I have the money. He who has money rules the world. I am the greatest." Maybe Philip, as we read in John chapter 6 verse 5, he will say, "I am the greatest." He turned to me and asked me, "Where can we get food to feed all these people?" And the list continues. So my dear brothers and sisters, Jesus wants us to walk as a team. When we bring all our talents together, we will be able to support each other. But why was Jesus bringing that image of a little child? It is the image of humility, the image of innocence, the image that is quick to forgive, the image that is quick, gentle, kind, and generous. He wants us to be humble, to be kind, to be generous, to be quick to forgive one another. Can we do that? That is what he wants us to do. My dear brothers and sisters, the first reading expresses to us the challenge of the good people in the society, how they suffer in the hands of the wicked people. When you become good, people plan evil against you because you always speak the truth. You challenge their wrongdoings. And the second reading from the letter of St. James. St. James makes it clear to us, where there is jealousy, it makes it difficult for us to pray. Let us build a community where we are able to accept and to appreciate one another. And in this way, we will find our Christian life moving on the right path. Let us accept and care for our brothers and sisters. May God bless each and every one of you, and do have a beautiful week ahead. May God bless you. Amen.